When we was having sex, when I came, I used to come on her stomach. I used to fold my towel nicely by the bed because I would want to wipe it off of her stomach. This particular time, she chose that she wanted to have a baby by me because I was the best thing that ever came into her life.
Unfiltered. Gather, my people, gather. Happy Easter, guys. I hope you have a wonderful, blessed Easter. Now, depending on when I'm going to upload this, I don't know if it is still Easter or if we arrived on Monday, but nevertheless, I hope you are having or had a blessed and wonderful Easter. Tell me in the comments, how did you spend it with your family? How was it? Did you do absolutely nothing? Because I'm fine with that too. You already know, Debs. One blanket, a snack, a nice series on TV, or the word of the Lord in the background, and we're good. I spent it with family. It was nice. And now I am with you guys. Now listen, your girl always finds herself in somebody's rabbit hole. Now, I don't know how this happens. For all the people that are new here, let me just tell you something, because this might help. Because sometimes I surprise myself. I have a very broad interest in things. And sometimes these things just fall into my I don't know, it's the algorithm. I don't know what's going on. And they just land on my desk. And when it piques my interest, I can't help but to deep dive. I can't help it. So I think it's safe to say that I wasn't necessarily planning on talking about boxing. Now, I like soccer. I like a little bit of football. But I don't really care about sports like that. But I do care about people. And lately, and again, I don't know how this happens, but lately I've seen Deontay Wilder pop up on my screen, on my timeline. And I just click it away and feel like, this is not for me. But every time when I look at him, or where I hear a little snippet of a clip, it's like I'm looking at a man that is fighting something way deeper than whoever stands in front of him in that ring.
I've been through a lot, outside of the ring. And usually my problems outside of the ring, I usually can handle them. But the journey that I had to go through, it was above me. I had to do a lot of work mentally. Physically and emotionally, I was there. I never left there, but mentally, I was done for,
And I have to say, guys, that his latest interview didn't make it much better for me. That Piers Morgan interview. I put some of it in the intro clip, but we'll watch it later on because that was a pure mess. So I think, guys, we need to get into the things of this boxing legend. We need to analyze what's really going on. Should we do this? Y'all ready? Let's get into it.
Hello, stranger. It's been a minute since we last kicked it. And by the way, just got in town, and I won't let cumulus clouds all in the sky ruin my vibe. And usually I don't do this often.
So listen, guys, allow me to deep dive a little bit before we get into the good.
Subject: Deontay Wilder. Classification: the Bronze Bomber. Height: 6'7". Identifiers: tall, explosive, and the mask stitched across his face.
So Deontay Wilder is a 40-year-old, famous American heavyweight boxing champion from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Also nicknamed the Bronze Bomber, and built his reputation on his scary knockout power. Now, guys, as of the latest coverage, he has about 44 wins. Now, actually, since yesterday, 45, 4 losses and 1 draw. And we are going to talk about it all. He held his WBC heavyweight title from 2015 to 2020, I believe, and built his reputation on his scary knockout power. But as I was watching the build-up to his latest fight, that was actually yesterday, April the 4th, against Derek Chisora, I was really zoning in on him. I was watching his face. I was watching his energy, the way he carried himself throughout this whole build-up to this latest match. And guys, I have to say, something felt really off to me. Now, I am going off my opinion, guys. So please, I'm not this expert on boxing and things. Don't come for me. Give a little grace. Now, when I look at this and when I analyze this, I was like, something is off with this guy. Like he was trying to prove something to himself but really not understanding who he is anymore. Like I was watching him spiraling. I don't know how to explain, but I'm going to take you through all of it, all the drama. Wait.
I'm a grown man. I'm not a child. And no one is not gonna tell me what I'm gonna talk about. And you can't comprehend the emotions that I feel or the things that I've seen. It can't be erased. It would never be forgotten. And some people would never forgive to this day.
See, this man, Deontay Wilder, he once stood in a ring, and this is the same man that stood there and said with his full chest, guys, that he wanted a body on his record.
This is the only sport where you can kill a man and get paid for it at the same time. It's legal. So why not use my right to do so?
Now, you might think, oh, that is metaphorically because he is a boxer and this is just a boxing thing that they said.
Like I said, I meant everything, even with the killing part. I meant that. I do want a body on my record.
He basically said he wanted someone to die. Now, I know a lot of people laughed it off, saying it was fighter talk. I've heard it all. But to me, I don't think it's normal. Now, you might say that is because, Deb, you are not in the fighter's world and this. But I'm telling you, saying you want a body on your record, I don't care what sports you do. I don't think it's normal. But listen, to understand why he even talks like that, we need to go back, all the way back, just a little bit. Because Wilder didn't just come from some polished boxing background. He didn't grow up dreaming about boxing belts and legacies and all of that. He got pushed into this life out of pressure. He grew up very religious. And I don't know if a lot of people know this, or maybe they do, but, I had to get into the things. He actually wanted to be a preacher at some point. He really considered it. He also attended the Shelton State Community College in Alabama for a hot minute and planned on becoming a basketball player, which I thought was very interesting. He didn't even plan to become a boxer. But then, guys, life hit. And he had a daughter with a college girlfriend at the time. But when she was pregnant, they found out that his daughter had a serious medical condition called spina bifida, which is a condition where the spinal cord doesn't properly close. Now, Deontay was very open about this, and we are going to get into the things later on because he talked about this in a recent interview. But let him tell it. He really wanted his daughter. And like I said, guys, he grew up very religious. So he was against abortion. And he always stated he is a family man. So he really wanted that child. But let him tell it. The mother, who is called Helen Duncan, I believe, he was never married to her. I think she would have chosen differently if it wasn't for Deontay's strong opinion. Now, they preceded the pregnancy, but after giving birth and their daughter's medical condition, the financial pressure got real, and he had to drop out of college.
I started because of my daughter that was born with spina bifida.
She probably would never have a natural childhood ability of learning. She probably would never walk because most kids are in wheelchairs or are paralyzed from the waist down.
So, I couldn't play football or basketball anymore because you had to go to school for that. I needed money right now.
He needed money, he needed stability, and he needed a purpose, and he needed it fast.
You're a 19-year-old kid. How are you going to take care of a little girl who needs multiple surgeries?
My whole mentality was to make money for my daughter. I was like, let me learn just the fundamentals and just stick me out of there.
So one day, around the age of 20, he just walked in a random gym in Alabama. I think it was called the Sky Gym, and let the internet tell it. The people immediately noticed him. He had this insane athleticism. He had a ridiculous punching power, but also a natural aggression. Now, he didn't have the boxing skill yet, but he had something. Aside from that charisma, he was hungry. That is something you cannot teach.
Working 2 jobs and still coming here training, it was tough.
So why didn't you quit?
I couldn't, My body wanted to quit, but my heart wouldn't let me.
I just kept winning. And that's how I got on the Olympics team.
So within about 2 years of starting boxing, guys, he was already competing at a high level. An amateur level still, yet very high. But he pivoted quickly. So he won national golden gloves, several U.S. championships, and to top it all, he actually qualified for the Olympics in 2008.
And then I turned pro shortly after, and I remember telling my daughter when she was 1 year old, I said, Daddy's going to be a world champion. He's going to be able to support you beyond your belief. It meant a lot for me to say that to her because I come from a place for unfulfilled promises.
Now, mind you guys, being 20 and then in 3 years accumulating all of this, that means you're already 23. For boxing, that is extremely late. For elite fighters, that is a late age. So I've heard. Yet it happened. he did it. Now, I could be wrong, but the way I see it when I went through all this research, 2008 was actually a very pivotal point in his career, because when he won that bronze medal at the Olympics, that is actually where he got his nickname from, if I am correct, which is the Bronze Bomber. Now, he got bronze. He could have, pouted and be a little bit bummed out that, he didn't win gold or whatever. But typical Deontay, he flipped it. He was bronze, but he was like, listen, I came from nowhere. I wasn't even supposed to be here. So winning bronze is a major accomplishment to me. Now, that's where he got the name, the Bronze Bomber. It was inspired by Joe Louis, called the Brown Bomber, but Deontay was called the Bronze Bomber because he had that crazy knockout power, crazy, and then he won bronze. So they put it together, flipped it, and that was that. So as you can see, he came from very humble beginnings, but with a very violent energy, all in one phrase. And while looking at him and looking at all, his footage and rummaging through it, I see that is exactly how he fights too. Raw, not really technical, but a mentality so extreme. And just, I don't know, everything about him seems like survival and not strategy. No finesse, no elegance. What you see with him is, if I touch you, you are gone. And I must say, for a long time, that worked. It worked so well that people started believing at one point that he was some sort of mythical creature, like some sort of unstoppable force that didn't need skill, because his power alone was enough. And he was recognized for it. In 2019, May to be exact, he got a statue in the middle of his hometown, Tuscaloosa.
I'd like to present Kayla's State of the Art and my statue. Yeah! On the number 3, everyone, I'm going to reveal. 1, 2, 3!
Now, that has to be one of the biggest honors and one of the biggest recognitions for his work.
Cried my eyes out because they made me immortal. You know what I mean? No matter what, my lovers and my haters, I'll always be around. Oh, my goodness. That was a beautiful moment for me.
And mind you, you constantly have to remember yourself, guys. This was not in his plan. It might have been God's plan for him to become a boxer and to save his daughter, save his family, get out of poverty. He came from nothing. But yet he was here, and he was making big waves. Let's be real, guys. A city just doesn't hand out statues. He actually made history for his city. First heavyweight world champion from Tuscaloosa, putting this city on the global boxing map. That is huge. And he was at his peak at that time in 2019. Now, Deontay Wilder's 2019, he was undefeated, a heavyweight champion, and he was knocking people out left and right, if I tell you. So he wasn't controversial yet. He was a local legend. But I also think, guys, that's where it started to get a little bit dangerous. And when I say that, I mean for him mentally. Because when the world keep telling you that you are invincible, then at some point, you start to believe it.
Bomb Squad!
I think can be okay, but it start not to be okay when it's not grounded in reality anymore. And his identity then became, I am the knockout. I am the danger. I am him. So when Tyson Fury came on the scene, that's where the story really starts for me. Because guys, that fight in 2018 between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury was a bet. It was something else. This wasn't just some cute knockdown. It was the kind of knockdown, the kind of knockout where you think like it's over.
Tyson Fury's ahead in this fight. Right across the lands for Fury. Oh, God! Here's Jim Gray.
But then here comes the kicker. While everybody was thinking, go check on him because he might be dead and everything, all of a sudden, guys, this guy gets up.
Fury about 12.
He's up. Can you continue?
Wow.
And you could see that Deontay was confused. He was like, no, wait. You're supposed to stay down. You are not supposed to get up. This is not normal. He was confused, guys. Now, this fight, 2018, it was a draw.
Here's Jim Gray.
Decision draw.
I think that moment planted a seed through all the rest of the drama. Because for the first time in Deontay Wilder's boxing career, his power didn't end the story. And let me tell you, for the people that don't know, Deontay Wilder is not a calm person. He is very intense, very emotional, and quite extreme. And I think it is safe to say that he does not do anything halfway. So when something cracks in someone like that, it doesn't crack quietly. It cracks loud.
Don't ever forget, when I found you, you was strung out on coke. When I found you, you was like a big house, contemplating about killing yourself. So don't you ever forget who brought you to big time boxing. I drugged you back. I brought you back. I provided food and put food on your table for your family to eat. And I'm doing it for the second time. So don't you ever forget that.
Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, he was still undefeated. He had a draw, but still the world feared him. And he believed in his power 100%. You couldn't tell him no different. Even after that draw, he was still on top. His identity still fully intact. We're talking about peak Wilder here. This was his peak era, his confidence era. But in my opinion, this was also the year that his PTSD, that he openly talks about, that some of that PTSD or mental instability start to peek through a little bit. And it is not so surprising to me because, guys, if your entire career is built on hurting somebody or getting hurt, taking constant blows to the head, it is not surprising that that does something to your brain. On top of that, Deontay, like I said before, he grew up in survival, came from nothing and managed to go against all odds and save his family. So you can understand that going back to nothing, that constant pressure to do good, together with, you know, that small crack that he had when Fury didn't stay down, that sparked some sort of intense emotion within him. So then late 2019, during the build-up to rematch his fight with Luis Ortiz, and after that draw that he had with Fury, of course, he did an interview. And guys, he snapped mid-sentence. Now that pressure on him to provide for his daughter, wanting so bad to secure generational wealth, but also that constant nagging idea of him coming from nothing, and then, you know, his fear of losing it all, suddenly triggered something in him. And when he snapped mid-sentence, guys, it was like it came from his soul.
I don't have to explain what's understood, man. You know what I mean by that. You know what I dare you to sit up there and say, explain. You know what I'm talking about, man. It's fighting people. You know we've been fighting 400 and still fighting to this day. To this day.
And it became one of the most viral memes till this day. Listen, it was very fun to a lot of people. But guys, it was actually the sound of survival. So then came the year 2020, because remember, I said we were in late 2019. Now 2020 comes along, and he went into his second fight with Tyson Fury. Listen, I'm not even gonna dress it up. That fight, that second fight, was pure humiliation, guys. Fury didn't just outpoint him, he bullied him. He walked him down, leaned on him, broke him down physically, mentally. And then the worst of the worst happened. Let Deontay tell it. His trainer stopped the fight, threw the towel in the ring, guys. Hey, when that trainer did that, it was over. Because to Deontay, this wasn't just losing. This was losing control in front of the whole world. And this is also the year that people started slowly side-eyeing him. And not because that fight stopped and he lost to Fury, but more because of his character. Now, he could have very well said, listen, I got beaten up and it is what it is, but I'm going to take him again. I'm going to take him on again. He could have said a whole thing, but instead he chose a very different route by saying everything but that. So he was talking about his suit was too heavy, his legs were gone, Fury cheated, his gloves were tampered with, and this is the best one. He also accused his longtime friend and trainer, Mark Breland, betraying him by throwing in the towel.
Like I said, it took a disloyal trainer to throw the towel in. And the crazy shit about it already, when I had Mark, everybody said I should get rid of him. But when I got rid of him, he was the best thing that happened to me.
He fired him as well. Now, if you ask me, Mark Breland, his trainer, actually did something that is very responsible. I mean, he threw in the towel to protect him, but Deontay didn't see it that way. Oh, no. Deontay saw it as, you didn't save me, you embarrassed me. And because of all of this embarrassment, guys, and all this, oh God, it was a whole thing. In 2021, he decided to go at it again. And I have to say, that fight, that 2021 fight against Tyson Fury, you could feel the desperation.
Gentlemen, we went over the rules in the dressing room. I want to remind you, protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands. God bless you both. Touch up.
He wasn't just fighting Fury. He was fighting Fury, guys, to get his whole identity back.
Can he get the title back? Big right hand from Fury. Wilder's got to get... Down goes Fury again.
Now he dropped Fury again. And you could see flashes of the old Deontay Wilder coming back. But unfortunately, depending on who you ask, of course, it still ended the same way, with him on the losing side, guys. Fury knocked him out.
Taking supernatural strength.
Fury throwing it up again.
Oh! And that's it. It's over. The Gypsy King, Tyson.
And in my opinion, after that, in 2021, Deontay never fully reset. So career-wise, that shine, from then, it was slowly coming off. Because, Wilder was once the terrifying knockout king. But he has now gone through such a rough stretch. So aside from Fury, he had a couple of other losses. I think it was against Joseph Parker and Silai Sang. Now, guys, you know me with these names, but those were some of the losses that he had. And you could see Deontay withdrew himself. He got quieter, not only in the media, but also with him boxing. But he was very on the low, very low key. And then, when you think, all of this is happening, all this drama surrounding this man, then you also had his personal life. Now, this happens to a lot of athletes. When they come into money, and they come into money quickly, without a warning, really, it often happens that they don't know what to do with this money, and their love life and their personal life start to expand too, A lot of people come out of the woodworks. Now, listen, girls, ladies, I'm not accusing you of anything, but these athletes are a hot commodity sometimes, especially when they got some money and the fame to go with it. Oh, God. So for Deontay, it wasn't any different. So he had different relationships, of course, and he also got several children from different relationships, aside from, his first daughter that he had when he was young. But when you look at all of his relationships, I think there is one that is actually seen as the main relationship. This was also the one relationship that he was most public with. And that was his relationship with Taylor Swift. This looked, pretty cool. I mean, they were together for years. They were engaged even. They had a child together, and it all looked very polished, very visible. Red carpet, social media, they did the whole thing. Now, side note, let the streets tell it. This Filipino lady, and let me tell you guys, I first thought she was black, but this Filipino lady, she was for the streets. And word on the curve is that, a lot of people trying to warn Deontay Wilder for dating her and, messing around with this girl. But he didn't listen. But behind all of that, guys, things clearly weren't as stable as they looked. Because by around 2023, and that is also the year that Deontay had a really tough time. Everything with Tyson Fury happened, and then it was all on the decline. So when his career was declining, her love was declining too. Now, I'm not alluding to anything, but this is how I see it. The relationship started to break down. And I think, but I'm not sure, but I think she made the first move to actually separate. Because things escalated quickly, guys, and very publicly too. Because this lady, Taylor Swift, she came forth with some serious allegations. Now, we are going to look at some of these allegations in a minute. But Telly, I have to get on your ass just a little bit. Because as I was doing my research, I came across a clip from you, an interview years ago, and you were still with Deontay. And you talked about, the way you met him and how fast this whole relationship actually went and how fast you jumped in. Now, I know that people are going to, Debs, but people, they jump in relationship. Sometimes it happens. Well, sometimes it happens faster when that person got a lot of money. But she said this.
How I fell in love was I ended up going back to Alabama after my family reunion. So I was like, okay, favor. So mind you, I just spent like a couple days with him and then went to my family reunion. And in those couple days, we got matching tattoos. His idea, which I kind of was like, I don't know. And he's like, come on, we're going to do it. So he's like, we go to the tattoo store and he's like, you know, we're getting matching tattoos, we're in love. So I'm like, is he serious? In my head, I'm like, is he serious? Like, I'm really about to get this matching tattoo. I just, you know, actually spent time with this guy one day, and then the next day it was like matching tattoo.
Hey, that's real. That's official.
Yeah,
you know
and it says love. So when we hold hands, like our hands say love on it. So I was like, okay, he's going first. Let me see if he's down and he's about this life. And he went, and I was like, okay, it's my turn now, you know. And then we got it, and it was just like, I didn't feel bad about it afterwards. It was like, I got it and I was like, okay, now we have no choice but to make this work. Yes. It was like my wedding ring, you know what I'm saying? Yes. Like, it was like, now we have no choice, this is permanent, we're gonna make it work.
Now, I mean, it could happen. I think I heard it before. Getting tattoos 2 days after meeting or 1 day after meeting. I mean, it happens, I'm sure. But you're saying that after you did that, now you had to make it work. It was kind of like a wedding ring. Now, where do they say such stupid-ish like this? Wedding ring. You known this guy just a couple of days or whatever you said, and this is the wedding ring because now you got this tattoo that you could easily get a cover up on. And you see this as his dying love, just professing his girl. But I digress. Because in 2024, this woman made some serious allegations of abuse against him, abusing her son.
All right, now Deontay Wilder is being sued by his ex-fiance's son. And that is allegedly over abuse. He is accused of repeatedly beating a minor over several years. Now, his attorney is saying that this is not only untrue, but suspicious. He is accused by Caron Swift, who is the son of his ex-fiancée, Telly Swift, of attacking him while he was living under his roof as a kid. According to Caron, he says that the abuse stretched from around 2016 through 2024. He said in one incident, he said that Deontay slapped him so hard inside a car that his head smashed into the interior, leaving him dazed, and he was only 13. And then he said in 2019, he was whipped with a belt, leaving visible bruises across his body. And in 2022, he alleges that when he was 16, Deontay Wilder grabbed him by the throat, lifted him off his feet, and slammed him against a wall and hurled him into a table like a rag doll.
Oh my gosh. This is going to court, guys. Now, Deontay seriously denies all these allegations. And I think that also is very important to say, and it has to be said because, you know, it's not proven. Although I just heard that she had some pictures or whatever with bruises and things. I don't know, Deontay. It doesn't really look good, but until anything is proven, you are still innocent in my book. So we have to wait and see.
My ex stole over $400,000 from me.
400?
What?
Oh, dang.
I took the role of being your son father, not just a daddy, but a father.
Right.
I went in so hard, bro, to the point where I put them on my wheel. I had a meeting with my kids. I said, how y'all feel if I scoot y'all over? I scoot over a little slide and let somebody else get a little bit of it. And, you know, my kids are amazing. They're my best friends. And they was down with it. So I moved a little space over and added her son in on my motherfucking wing. You ain't even my son for real.
Right.
One time the son said, you ain't my daddy. Now, that's one thing you don't say to a man that ain't your daddy. Don't remind him that you ain't his daddy. You know what I'm saying? Don't remind me that.
I know that, but you ain't got
it. I done fed you, took you on all these trips, giving you a beautiful life.
Yeah.
I ain't your daddy.
But it's also important for us to understand these situations, guys, because oftentimes you could also be very quick to say, okay, but then why just now she comes forth? It's 2026. Why now after all these years? But then, guys, how many times do we see this? You see people coming forth 20, 30 years later. People speak up when they're ready. I don't know how many times you have seen this. This is how it works. With victims of abuse, when they are ready, they come forth. And sometimes they do not come forth because they're scared, because they're intimidated, either financially, physically, all sorts of reasons. Now, I was not with them. So I don't know whether it's true or not, whether this is a money grab or not from her. I don't know. So now you got a man dealing with career pressure, identity pressure, public scrutiny, and a personal life that is unraveling right in front of all our eyes. And him not being the most mentally stable person. Let him tell it. This news on top of all of it isn't the best, as you can imagine.
You know, when a man loves, he loves hard. And when his heart is broken, it's a devastating thing. It's almost like you want to kill yourself. But I had to put my heart back together. I had to put it back together. And most of the time I was convincing myself that, oh, I'll be all right. I can do it. This ain't nothing you ain't never been through before. But I was lying to myself, you know? And I had to come to a realization. Certain things, certain fights was a measuring stick to am I really there or not, you know? And it gave me the answer. And when I got the last defeat, I knew exactly. I went to Shelly immediately. And we handled that, you know? It's tough. You gotta understand, we are fighters and we're not robots, you know? We still have a life outside boxing. We still go through emotions. We still have emotional roller coasters in life. You know, no one person has it all figured out, you know? So that's why things are placed and set for us to go seek help for certain things. And, you know, as my race of people, you know, it's hard for us to go see therapists and stuff like that because sometimes we done been through so much in life, you know, the generational trauma of things we feel like we can handle. But when you go try it, you'll find out it's all right, you know. And here I am now, the rebuild of myself. I'm human just like everybody else.
People still love Deontay Wilder. And I must say, I get it. See, a lot of people are looking for secrets about Deontay Wilder, some dirt, some hidden scandal that wasn't uncovered yet. But the truth is, nothing about him is really hidden. He puts it all out there. And if you ask me, he shows you exactly who he is. And that is the thing that I think people love so much about him. He is real. He is raw. He's wild, not polished, definitely not media trained. He cries, he rants, and he says things that he probably shouldn't say. But in a world of, you know, all that fakeness and fake personas, this realness that he has, this is exactly what pulls people in.
I may be one of the most hated fighters there is in this time, but I'm also one of the most loved as well because I don't hold my tongue. I don't hold back. I speak my peace. And when Deontay do die, he will be loved. I'll probably be more loved when I'm dead than alive because this world is backwards from what we say and what we do, but I'll never be forgotten because most of the things I've done have been set in stone within a statue.
People actually see him as someone that came from nothing, someone that pulled himself up, someone that saved his family. And he gets a lot of respect for that. And people write for that. So even when he is wrong and he says something out of the way shit, people are like, yeah, he's still that guy. But you have to understand, guys, and this is why I think it is so important to talk about Deontay. Being real doesn't necessarily mean you are being okay. So this is when we arrive, guys, to where we are at now. And if you are still with me, deep diving into this subject, I am going to hit a like for you, guys. Click and subscribe if you haven't already. But the fact that you are sitting this out with me, I love it. So, Deontay had been preparing for his comeback to fight Derek Chisora. You could kind of say that these are two veterans in the game. I mean, Derek Chisora is of age already, very experienced, but they have never fought against each other. Now, Derek Chisora called Deontay Wilder out quite a few times, and promoters were going with that. They floated it out as a possible fight, and fans ate it up. They saw it as a chaos versus chaos matchup. It is one of the fights that always made sense on paper, but it never really happened. But it never really finalized. Because a lot of things happened, guys. Because Deontay Wilder was very caught up in that whole Fury trilogy, but he was also chasing bigger names like AJ, etc. I don't know these guys, but I saw these names. He was chasing them, not Derek. And then looking at Derek Chisora, he had his own ups and downs that he was battling with. So it just never came about. But now we're here. Now this fight really made sense because When you look at these two, they are very similar energy-wise. Very emotional fighters and not media polished, both of them. So they're the type of guys that they do whatever they feel. They just bring the chaos. And Chisora is definitely known for being wild too.
Derek, do you get into trouble when you're out, or do people try and get you into trouble?
No, I don't get into trouble. I make trouble.
Right.
I go out looking for violence.
Have you had people try it on with you?
Yeah.
What happens?
Just come out of my car and show them what time it is.
Really?
Yeah. I ain't got time for that.
Do you actually fight people if they try it on with you?
Yeah.
How often does that happen?
If any time. In London, we like to scrap.
Really?
Yeah.
You still do that?
Mate, I love a scrap.
Really?
Yeah.
What, you'll go out and just get into a scrap?
I will go out looking for a scrap.
No, are you winding me up?
I swear to God.
Really?
You don't understand.
But aren't these like considered dangerous weapons?
I will go out looking for a scrap because I want one.
And do people try because they want to test?
Because they don't. It's just madness. I don't know why.
What, you're just a natural fighter?
I just like to scrap, yeah.
So between them, there's kind of like a mutual understanding. Like we don't have to like each other, but we understand each other. But throughout all of this preparing, guys, towards the fight that happened yesterday, Deontay seemed very distracted. Now, you could say, of course he's distracted. All these allegations coming to him and whatever. But I also mean, and I said this in the beginning, if you can remember the beginning of the video, he just seemed very off, guys. Not like himself. And like he said numerous of times, he is battling PTSD. And, you know, he has a lot of healing to do. Went through a lot of situations. So it is understandable, but it does make you think, is this the best time towards your comeback? Shouldn't you just heal a little bit longer? But for Deontay, this is not really a question. Like the urge for him to turn his tarnished name around, to secure his legacy towards his children. There's a lot at stake here for him. So he went for it, whether we like it or not.
Money, my ass. Sign.
Let's fucking go!
Sign.
Let's go. Let's get it.
I hope you're ready.
Oh, man. If I ain't ready, then I'm going to get ready.
I hope you are ready.
It's going to be crazy. They buzzing, too.
But when I say, was he ready? For me, when I watched that interview that he did with Simon Jordan, now, if that last name, I'll put the name on the screen if I didn't say it correct. But when he had that interview with Simon, which I think is a obnoxious, interviewer. Oh, God. But it's still an interview nonetheless. You know, and as a professional athlete, you just have to do the interview and just stay professional. But that Simon managed to trigger him by asking him something about Fury, which let Deontay tell it. He told him specifically not to do. But the way that he got triggered, guys, lets me know that he is not at all ready. Because he lost it.
I wanted to move you on to Tyson Fury.
I don't want to talk about him.
No, you're going to.
We're here about
No, but you're going to.
We're not going to talk about him
at
all.
But as part
we're not going to talk about him at all. Understand that?
No, fair enough.
All right, then. So let's move on. It's all about Derek Chisora, and that's it.
I understand that. The only part of the shtick that goes with you, and I missed you first time around when you came in here 3 years ago, when you were in your pomp 4 years ago doing Bomb Squad and all that sort of stuff. And I've always wanted to have a conversation with you because you've made observations about Fury. I have my own views on Fury, and you've called him a cheat. And it leads me.
The biggest in boxing.
Yeah, but it leads me to a conclusion.
Biggest in boxing. If somebody practicing, taking their stuff out of their gloves in training, what you think they're gonna do in the fight?
Yeah, but
that's all I got to say about that.
I want to put something to you about you, right? And Fury just happens to be the hook for it.
That's all I got to say about him.
You talked about being cheated in that fight. You talked about water being spiked. You talked about your Game of Thrones outfit being too heavy for you.
I didn't say that.
You said it was too heavy for you.
I didn't say that.
Okay, well I might be wrong on that one. You talked about the long.
Y'all took a journalist that said something because y'all, everybody wanted to come in. Oh wow,
you talked about a long count, right? And then you talked about the trainers, Mark Breland not being good enough.
No, I ain't saying he wasn't good enough.
So what I'm asking you in all of this is, it sounds to me, given the character that you are, that's like a little bit flaky. You lost those fights, and you saying that someone like Fury cheated you in those fights, I think is kind of disappointing to me.
You can say
about
what you want. I know the truth. I have the facts.
Okay.
Understand that. I got the facts of it.
No, fair enough.
I got the proof. I got the people to tell it.
And we'll look forward to seeing that. We'll look forward to seeing that.
Understand that. What I say in boxing, I mean, and it's the truth.
I risk my life for you's entertainment to see.
Absolutely.
So why I ain't never lied about none in this business. You can believe why is it so hard to believe a black man than a white man? Understand me? Why is it so hard to believe a black man than a white man?
Why you don't believe
Why is it?
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, go on.
So we go there.
First and foremost, it's got nothing to do with color.
It does. This whole country got something. This whole world got something to do with race. You think your life has been like mine?
Listen,
Come on, you got white privilege, brother.
Don't start.
I ain't never had that.
Don't start
I'm a black man with dark skin. Ain't nothing ever been given to me. I done had to kick in every opportunity that I've had. That's what it is. Y'all don't understand. Maybe y'all don't talk about this shit in this country.
Yes, we do, mate.
But when you get me in here, I speak the peace. I speak the truth.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Let me ask you.
Yeah, go on. Go on.
If this is about color,
y'all got the wrong person.
Go on.
Most black people, why we so into it with each other because we have PTSD. We done been through so much. So much.
You wanted to move on, right?
Come on, man. It's hard to move on when you don't know the truth, and that's when I come in and try to give you a vision, a little insight of what we go through as black people, man.
I got it.
You don't get it.
Well, okay.
None of y'all get it.
Where do you want me to go?
Y'all don't get it. And that's the problem. You think you get what you don't understand.
Okay.
Why is it so hard? I'm from the South. You understand?
Come on, let's pull it back into the fight.
It's hard when y'all don't understand.
I get it.
Another situation. I said I didn't want to talk about a situation. Now you got me riled up.
Fair enough.
Wilder's back. You understand? I feel shit. You understand me? You don't mean that, man.
Okay, stop
Let me get the out of here, bro. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Talking about my people and all that shit.
I told you guys. Very emotional. Now, don't get me wrong. These type of wild interviews where he just walks off or goes into a complete rant is not new to Deontay Wilder. But he just doesn't like to be challenged. And now the stakes are getting higher and higher. His comeback as this KO legend, very important. So the people are watching. They are zooming in. They are paying close attention. But somehow, some way, Deontay, he can't seem to get it together. But I think he really needs help. I thoroughly enjoyed this interview he did together with Derek Chisora and with Piers Morgan. I enjoyed it. But that he is not okay was very evident when I watched that interview, guys. Because totally unprovoked. At some point, when I think Piers asked him something about his childhood, but he started to go in a full-on story time about how he got his daughter and his baby brothers. I couldn't believe my ears. Let's watch.
Like you said.
Yeah, man.
One is your daughter, Nia, I think it's how Nia, who was born with spina bifida, which is obviously a very serious condition. What impact has that had on your life and your feelings as a father?
It had a strong impact on my life because I chose to keep her. Her mother didn't. You know, her mother tried to set me up, you know, to have the baby. You know, she ejected my sperm in her and ran in the bathroom and locked the door, and that's how we had her.
Really?
Yeah. You know, truth be told, she don't even know I know this.
Wow.
But I'm telling it on to the world.
How do you know that?
I'm smart. You know, when we was having sex, you know, when I came, I used to come on her stomach. You know, I used to fold my towel nicely by the bed because I would want to wipe it off of her stomach. This particular time, she chose that she wanted to have a baby by me because I was the best thing that ever came into her life. Most of her relationships only last for 2 months or whatever because she was a promiscuous woman. I didn't know it at the time. I only found out this thing by reading her journal. She didn't know that I read her journal either. You know, so during that time, I did what I do. I had a good nut, and I nutted on her stomach. This time, I went and got the towel and tried to wipe it off, and she hit my hand so hard, I thought she hit my hand like a home run, like a baseball player do a baseball bat. But she screamed, "No!" as if she was being raped. She got up so quickly and ran into the bathroom and locked the door. 2 weeks later, you know, she liked to go clubbing and drinking with her girls and stuff. Like, okay, cool. But this particular moment in time, she knew she was pregnant. So she was pregnant with my daughter, but she didn't do all the right things to, you know, take her prenatal vitamins and things, the nutrients and the minerals that needed for my daughter to stay healthy. You know, she just was worrying about this child having my child, but my child ended up with spina bifida. So going into the doctor's office, we had an opportunity to terminate the pregnancy, but it's just something in my heart. I just felt like she deserved to live. I wanted to take up on this opportunity of taking care of a girl that was born with spina bifida, a child that's in need. She needed me as I needed her. Her mother had no remorse, had no feelings about it, because she didn't even think I was gonna make the decision that I made. We were still in college. So she probably thought that I was going to terminate the pregnancy so she can attempt to trap me again. You understand me? So when I dedicated myself to having my child, that was it, you know, that was my whole life. That was everything, you know. So from that point, I knew I couldn't go to school to be a professional athlete or anything like that. I had to dedicate everything to my daughter. I knew that school wasn't an option for me to be a professional, but I was in the school of hard knocks. I never looked for trouble, but trouble always came my way. So I've always had to handle myself streetwise, no matter what. You know, there's so many stories about me that I forgot that it even happened. People have to remind me sometime, and I don't even remember. That's how many wars I've been in since a boy. So when I hear about certain things, I keep my mouth closed because sometimes I have a fading memory of certain things. I've done so much. I've been in so many fights. I don't even want to bring it up. Sometimes it give you PTSD. That's why I say when I come from how I was raised and stuff, like, although I was raised in a good family, but that don't mean, you know, that the devil is not here to intervene upon your father's prayers, upon your mother's prayers or your grandma's prayers, because the devil is listening too. And he's going to come in and disturb as well. So I had many people to try to come and try to harm me.
Where does your daughter live now?
She lived with me.
And has done ever since?
Oh, most definitely. And her life has been better ever since coming.
And do you have any contact with the mother? Or?
Never. I blocked her. I don't want contact. Why?
Does your daughter ever see her?
I have 3 deadbeat mothers on my hand, you know. I had a vision I would have all my children, and God is so beautiful. He's so great. You understand me? I don't go and bash the mothers, though. I don't go and do that. I don't use my platform or certain things to say this and say that. I let life does what it gonna do. You know what I mean? I'm a beautiful father. You understand me? I love my children to death. When you have a father's love in the household, the success rate is through the roof, through the sky. You know, I've been through all that where they want me to see my kids, where I had to take the milk and the Pampers and knock on it's there and try to make me a deadbeat, but that wasn't in me. I can't be, you know what I mean? I love my children too much to let them living in this world without a father. I've been through all that. So I always promote fathers, take care of your children no matter what.
When you hear Derek talking about a dream of walking his daughters down the aisle, do you think that will ever be possible with your daughter?
Almost definitely. Doctor said she would never be able to walk or never have a natural childhood ability or learning. But if God has something for you, then it ain't nothing that nobody can say. He is the doctor in the sick room. He is the best friend behind the bed. He is all things. So now, you know, my daughter's 21. She just got a license. She's about to have a job as well. She got her own home. You know what I mean? What more to say? It's a beautiful thing.
It's a great story.
It's a beautiful thing. You know, one day this story will, you know, be told, and the movie probably will be presented as well. You know, how a father loved for a spinal bifida girl and what he did to risk his life to save a life come to pass.
Now, I got to be honest. I would love to see that movie. What about you guys? Put it in the comments. I would go and watch it. But you cannot tell me, guys, that this man is not unhinged. I mean, he's a great storyteller. But you could definitely see some sort of emotional instability at times when he's talking. Let's be honest. Now, I truly commend him for taking care of his kids and being that stand-up guy, that black father that just goes all out for his kids. I commend him for that. I mean, Deontay, that is truly a great job. But at the same time, you're saying you're not bashing their mothers. Now, I don't know. Your daughter's 21. I don't know if she's going to see this. But, you know, you telling us how this all went with the sperm and the... I think it's kind of bashing. I think when you say, I had 3 deadbeat mothers, don't you think that's kind of bashing? This is why I say you're unstable, sir. Now, guys, when it comes to that story, tell me what you think in the comments. What was this? Nobody asked him. He just went in a full-on story time. I told you this. And that is not me saying I don't like Deontay. I actually do. But let's wait until what these allegations, what they come up with. But I don't dislike Deontay at all. I just didn't think this was a good look. Now, fast forward to yesterday, guys. The fight. Guys, listen, I had to pay to watch this fight, but I had to do it. I had to do it because I had to bring you the energy, you know. What does it look like if I didn't watch the fight? Now, I have to say, I enjoyed it. I am not a boxing fan. I don't know anything about boxing, but I enjoyed this fight. I must say, 12 rounds, guys.
Chisora, lovely uppercut there from Wilder. What nice uppercut. Temple shots. Here comes Deontay Wilder's wrong with his eye. And here comes Wilder. Chisora's in trouble in his...
Now, this Derek Chisora guy is a big block of concrete. This guy does not go down. Now, Deontay, obviously very experienced. He won by a split decision.
115-113 for your winner by split decision. The Bronze Bomber, Deontay Wilder.
And I can't even say that this was a typical Wilder, dominant KO fight. That definitely wasn't it. Although, that Derek guy almost got KO'd. He came in between the ring thing. I was like, he's going down, but he did not. This man he held his own. But when he landed in between those ropes, I was like,
Chisora into his corner. How many times have you done that? He's in big trouble.
Now, I have to say, this looked more like a street fight to me. Very messy, chaotic, emotional, a borderline street fight type of energy. That's just how I saw this fight. As someone that has not a lot of experience with boxing. But if I do not describe this correctly, put it in the comments. And then his speech.
Moments of that in the ring, you must feel so good with that victory.
Man, I feel good. First off, I'd like to give the glory to God, because without him, nothing is possible. Derek, he's a warrior. He came like a lion to fight, but like I said before, I don't play boxing, I come to end it. Many people doubted me. They counted me out. They do dirt on my name. But you can't throw dirt on somebody that's chosen. I just want to thank everybody that came out tonight. And I want to thank the O2 Arena for hosting us. What a magnificent fight it was. And I give all the glory and the thanks to God, and thank Derek as well, bro. We got to go fishing. You coming to Alabama, baby. I knew Derek was going to come. I knew he was going to bring everything that he had. This is a retirement fight. And I was telling him in the ring, as I started seeing his eyes swell and his temple started to buckle a little bit, I said, bro, you got to live for your kids. I don't want to hurt you too much longer. So I started having fun in there because I saw my brother starting getting hurt. I started weakening his eyes a little bit. And that's what boxing is all about. Too many lives have been lost in this ring, this very ring. And then when it's over for us, nobody give a damn about us. No matter what they say, nobody give a fuck about us. So you got us fighters have to look after each other. And tonight, I looked after Derek tonight. I didn't want to go too hard up on him because, like I said, I saw his temple, the veins started coming out of his head. And I want him to live for his kids. It's time for us to take care of each other. I have 7 of my own. And babies, I'm coming home to y'all. I love my children.
Still a bit unhinged. Because yes, Deontay Wilder won. And on paper, that is a victory. We can't take that away from him. He made a comeback. But when you actually watch him, he doesn't seem like a man who got everything back that he wanted. He feels very much like a man that is still searching. To me, even in his speech. I don't know. And I feel that is what this entire video has been about. Not whether he can win fights, but whether he can find himself again. And it shows you that this is just not a regular boxing story. This is a man that built his entire identity on being unstoppable. Now it's trying to navigate what happens when the world shows you that you are actually not. Because even in this victory, you could still see the cracks. So yeah, he won, but I don't think this is about winning. This was him trying to prove something. And I don't think he fully proved it to himself yet.
I'm a warrior, so I'll be back soon. And if not, then it's been an enjoyment. It's been a pleasure. And I appreciate everybody for the love and the support that they've been giving me for over the years.
Let me know in the comments, guys. Let me know what you think. Maybe we have some boxing experts among our fam here. Let us know in the comments. Now, also let me know, do you think he needs to pause? He said he's healed. But do you think he still needs to pause that boxing, do some more healing? Do you think he should stop altogether? Or do you think that he should just continue and just, like he said, just keep getting better and better and make his comeback? Or is he now at an age where it's over? Let me know in the comments. And I hope, guys, that even though boxing is not your thing, you know your girl is always dragging you along these topics. I hope you still enjoyed it, guys. Click a like, click a subscribe for your girl. And thank you for spending your time with me. And if this comes out at Easter, thank you for dedicating some of your Easter time with your girl. And I'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace.